Rise and shine, everybody. Hope y'all on. Give me a moment. I want to make sure I'm on Facebook. I want to make sure I'm on YouTube so I can see you guys' comments. Let's see here. Fantastic. I'm seeing you guys that's on Facebook. Let me get my other phone set up so I can get you guys onto YouTube, okay? So I got both of my phones in front of me. I think I'll be able to see the comments on YouTube up here anyway, so that should be fine. And I think it should show me both of y'all. So comment, guys. Let me know if y'all can see me. We're about to have a really good build. I'm hoping that you guys are ready to be civil, are ready to. Okay, I see you guys. Great. Perfect. What's up, Yvette? What's up, Facebook user? What's up, Petey? What's up, guys? What's up, Sharon? My day's amazing. Facebook user. Wish you had a name. What's up, Dwayne? What's up, Ruben? Peace, Sharon. I hope all of you guys are doing absolutely amazing. Of course, what I want to be talking to you guys today about is some content I recently produced, myself and Lacey, just the other day. We're having a conversation about her moving in with me. It's a skit. And in this skit, she plays a single mother, and I play a man with no children. And we're about to make the relationship more exclusive or make it more serious, take it to that next level. Okay, so I'm asking her to move in with me, but I'm requiring her to pay something because she has a child. Now, in this video, this version of me, of course, is saying that if she did not have a child, she wouldn't have to pay anything. But because she has a child, I need her to be responsible for her child, okay, while she's living with me until marriage. So we're going to play this video, family, okay? We're going to dive into it. I want to hear you guys' opinions, okay? All that good stuff. Some of you guys are saying that y'all see nothing wrong with what he was saying. Thank you so much, Luther. A lot of you guys are saying you see nothing wrong with it. And some of you guys are saying that you see a lot wrong with it, okay? So we're going to get into the content, and we're going to see how y'all feeling about it, okay? Thank you, Cam. It says he is not wrong. It's his preference. Everyone is entitled to their desired lifestyle. Now it's up to her if she wants to accept that. And that is absolutely right. So what you guys were witnessing was a man just trying to negotiate his relationship as he should, okay? And we don't typically do that. So this is why I wanted to do this video, to get a lot of us talking, but I also wanted to go over these little issues. Well, not little issues, they're very big issues. And they're an issue that's so prevalent because we have low culture. You understand, guys? We have low culture, low principles. And we're going to talk about that today, all right? So the baby's father should already be paying for the child. Great, absolutely. I am legally married, Kimberly, to Jamie, okay? Lacey and I have our own agreed upon marriage between the two of us, which I believe is just as real as a government marriage. It's just going to a courthouse and getting those outsiders to be insiders. They never had to have any type of say-so over our marriage. But back then when I married Jamie, I believed very much in the matrix. So I went and had the matrix to establish my marriage. If I were the person that I am now, I wouldn't have married Jamie either on paper, as I don't believe in government marriage. You understand? And so I believe that a marriage should be between the two parties that start in that business. Okay. And their prenuptial agreements, all that stuff should be according to what they discuss. Okay. I do believe that a marriage should be something real, and it should be something that's talked about, even signed off on, so you can go back and read those things later and not argue about what was said or what wasn't said. You needed to be in writing so you can see it. But really, for the two of y'all, I don't see where there should be a government involved. And many of you guys have this understanding now. But just to answer your question, yes, I'm legally married with documentation with Jamie. And Lacey and I also have documentation, but that is between her and I. Okay, family. So let's get into it, family. I'm excited about this. I'm ready to crack into it. So let me see if I can't do this sharing thing, and let me know if you can hear it, and I'll be watching in the comments to see if you guys can hear it, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a few minutes of it at a time, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about what was said. So I want you guys to truly listen with the intent to respond, so someone can come back later and read this and be enlightened by it. Please don't insult. Please don't just go to insulting because you don't know what to say. A lot of you ladies who do have a child, please know before I get this started, I'm not saying you don't have value, but I am saying that you have a responsibility. That doesn't equal no value. It equals a responsibility. And I want you to know that this is parallel. For men who have children, they also have a responsibility. I didn't say that meant they lost value, but I said it meant they have a responsibility. You understand? And they should be responsible for their responsibilities. And I think we all should learn this and agree with this, okay? But let's get this started, all right? Someone says, what's the topic? It's a video I did the other day, family, where Lacey and I did a skit where we are talking about single mother issues, but I'm asking her to move in with me, and we're playing a skit, and we're talking about these certain things so we can create a conversation tool. And what I'm going to do is play that video for you now. So just stay tuned, and you'll see what the topic is all about. Just listen to really, truly respond. Don't react, because it will put a lot of you guys in your feelings, okay? So just try and remove your ego and listen for the betterment of our children. So everything I do, family, is to elevate our culture and elevate our consciousness so that our children can reap the benefits of it. This is my goal, and it's not to insult any of you guys. Please understand that. I don't speak for men or women. I speak for the children. All right, let's go. Let me find that. Let's see. Share screen. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over. Let's see if this works. So how was your trip?
It was great. Thanks. Fun to see.
So I wanted to talk to you about something today.
Okay.
So we've been dating for 6 months.
Yes.
And a little bit of long distance dating. I don't see you as often as I'd like, right? We've been talking about moving together. I'm thinking we could do that and really focus on our relationship so we can get focused on that. Okay. So that's a problem. You can't see it, but you can hear it, right? So let's fix that. I'm gonna start this over. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try to get this window corrected. Let's see here. Now, tell me, guys, if you can see it now. So how was your trip?
It was great. Thanks. Fun to see.
So I wanted to talk to you about something today.
Okay.
So we've been dating for 6 months.
Yes.
And a little bit of long distance dating. I don't see you as often as I'd like, right? We've been talking about moving in together. I'm thinking we could do that and really focus on our relationship so we can get focused on that next move, which would be ultimately marriage and creating our own family together. All right, so we still don't have it. Let's see here. What am I doing wrong? You guys use StreamYard, right? What am I doing wrong, family? I went into share screen. I didn't download it to my computer or anything, but I went to share screen and it's pulling up the windows. Entire screen. Let me see here. Share audio system. Share. Okay, never mind. I got it now. Thank you. So how was your trip?
It was great.
Fantastic.
So good to see.
Good to see you too. So look, I wanted to talk to you about something today.
Okay.
So we've been dating for 6 months.
Yes.
And a little bit of long distance dating. I don't see you as often as I'd like, right? We've been talking about moving in together. I'm thinking we could do that and really focus on our relationship so we can get focused on that next move, which would be ultimately marriage and creating our own family together. You know what I mean? I just want to see what you thought about that. Just moving forward in our relationship.
I'm actually really in that same headspace. It makes me happy to hear that we're on the same page.
Good.
I'm excited.
So I'm talking about making this move anywhere between the next month or so. I don't know if you to where you can get out of your lease. I know as of right now you're covering all of your own personal bills, everything from that. I don't know how soon you can get out of your lease or whatever. I'm hoping that you can move in with me, get a little closer to me. And of course you can bring in your child. And I believe living with me will actually help you out a lot financially as well, because right now you're covering all those bills. And with me, I would only ask that you cover
a percentage of the rent.
A percentage.
Sure, a percentage of the rent. Well, you paying, think about it, you're paying all your bills now, so you're paying all of your rent, you're paying your lights, you're paying your water, you're paying for your food bill, all that. What I would require is just a portion of the rent.
Okay. Now, I'm not trying to offend, but I kind of took you for the chivalrous, I provide kind of guy.
Sure. I am that type of guy. Very traditional. Want to be very traditional, but that's typically if I'm getting into a relationship with a traditional type person. Then that you already do have a child. I don't have a child. I know that you and the father work well together to take care of your child, but that won't be my child. So I won't really truly be able to raise that child in the way I would like to. And my program then is not my child. I know you wouldn't allow that because you're already raising your child. And if we don't work out, then I know you're going to take your child with you. So I don't want to be sparing all the expenses for your child before we get married. Right now I want you to move in with me so we can really focus on our relationship.
All right, family. Could y'all hear that and see that? I'm going to wait for a moment. I felt like I could when I went and looked at it, but I can't see you guys' comments while I'm going. Let me look at your comments now. Or the video mute. Could you please mute on your device, which I did. Oh, gosh, it sounds terrible. Is it echoing that badly? Ooh. Ugh. Oh, y'all saying that, huh? So even this last time, it wasn't coming up to where you guys could really hear that? Okay, so that makes sense, says Eric. I have to go watch it because there was a bad echo. It was a bad echo. Even this last time? Dang. Why? So who's on stream, y'all? Who can tell me how to kill that echo? Let me try this. I'm going to try something, okay? Let me try this again. I'm sorry, y'all. Please bear with me. I'm really going to get good at this. And I realize I'm not doing it enough to get good at it, but I am going to start doing it because I really want to do this on like a every couple day thing, man, a weekly thing. I want to do this, okay? Let me see here. Let's try this again. All right, so you're going to go to share. Share screen. Share system. Let's see here. Share that.
So how was your trip?
It was great. Thank you. Something to see.
So I wanted to talk to you about something today.
Okay.
So we've been dating for 6 months.
Yes.
And a little bit of long distance dating. I don't see you as often as I'd like, right? We've been talking about moving in together. I'm thinking we could do that and really focus on our relationship so we can get focused on our next move, which would be ultimately married and creating our own family together. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see what you thought about that. Just moving forward in our relationship.
I'm actually really in that same headspace. It makes me happy to hear that we're on the same page. I'm excited.
So I'm talking about doing this, making this move anywhere between the next month or so. I don't know if you to where you can get out of your lease. I know as of right now you're covering all of your own personal bills, everything from that. I don't know how soon you can get out of your lease or whatever. I'm hoping that you can move in with me, get a little closer to me. And of course you'll be bringing your child. I believe that with me would actually help you out a lot.
What the heck did I do?
Financially as well, because right now you're covering all those bills.
Playing picture in picture. What I do? You can't make this stuff up.
And with me, I would only ask that you cover, a percentage.
Oh, that I was just like, ugh.
Family. Could you hear? I mean, man, Samosa. Listen, thank you guys for the stars. Somebody sent 200 stars. Thank you guys so much. Let's see here. Thank you, Callie C's, for the stars. Thank you so much, Princess Black, for the stars. Thank you guys. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying, man. The echo did stop. Okay. I saw a little button up there and I touched it. I don't know. And it went away. So are y'all okay with starting this back? Because y'all can hear it now. Okay. It wasn't but a minute. And it's going to be some jewels here. So hopefully, man, because y'all done started dropping off the live like flies. I'm kind of discouraged now. Maybe we should do this tomorrow. Y'all want to do this tomorrow? We can do it tomorrow. And I'll work on it today. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let you guys tell me if today or tomorrow will work. Because I actually have an interview to do today at 1. And if we do this tomorrow, I can go a little longer than 1 hour. But if we do this today, I might have to get off in an hour. Somebody said just resume. So y'all ain't tired of my bullshit? Y'all ain't? Oh, man. Ready when I'm available. Thank you, Mikael. Would y'all be available tomorrow at 12? I'm going to ask y'all. Now, I'm asking. Okay. I know I talked about it today. Restarted. I got an hour. I can definitely go, but yes, I do. I actually do need more practice, man, Samosa. I actually would love to have a technician, man. If anybody's in Charlotte, I'd pay you guys. I definitely would pay for a really good technician. When we can be partners. So I'm definitely looking for that. So anybody who really know what they're doing with the editing and all that kind of stuff, who can help me make my studio super dope, please let a brother know. Okay, restart it now. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. Now I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm gonna go ahead and all right, let's go. I'm gonna start it over. Start from the top, and we got this. Okay, y'all support me, right? I don't want y'all like giving my video thumbs down. Get the like, put some likes on here. So I am gonna keep going. Give me some likes, family. All right, here we go. Thank y'all so much for your patience too, by the way.
So how was your trip?
It was great. Something to see.
So I wanted to talk to you about something today.
Okay.
So we've been dating for 6 months.
Yeah.
And a little bit of long distance dating. I don't see you as often as I'd like, right? We've been talking about moving in together. I'm thinking we could do that and really focus on our relationship so we can get focused on that next move, which would be culturally married and creating our own family together. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see what you thought about that. Like just moving forward in our relationship.
I'm actually really in that same headspace. It makes me happy to hear that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So I'm talking about doing this, making this move anywhere between the next month or so. I don't know if you were to where you can get out of your lease. I know as of right now you're covering all of your own personal bills and everything from that. I don't know how soon you can get out of your lease or whatever. I'm hoping that you can move in with me, get a little closer to me. And of course you'll be bringing your child. I believe living with me would actually help you out a lot financially as well, because right now you're covering all those bills. And with me, I would only ask that you cover, a percentage of the rent.
A percentage.
All right, I think that's a good place to come back and build from there. Okay, so she just found out that she has to pay a percentage of the rent. Now, where she currently lives, family, she pays it all. She pays her rent, she pays her car note, she pays her utilities, water, everything that she needs for this child. She pays, but she gets an additional, something from her baby's father, as she should. He should be responsible for his child. Now, notice I'm saying that I'm looking at it. The man is looking at it like, well, she actually is going to save a lot of money because she's already paying a lot of bills now. You understand? And so all he's going to ask her for is a percentage of what she's already paying. And notice how she pauses, like she didn't want to hear that. But why is the question? Why is it that she can't see this as, hey, man, I get an opportunity to be able to save some of this money I'm spending, right? At least I'm not going to be paying what I was paying. Because the main thing, family, is this, okay? We cannot seem to manage relationships long enough to get out of debt. Now, culturally, financially, this is what you guys need to know. This is what our kids have to experience. Culturally, financially, we're at the bottom of the social scale. We don't have money. And frankly, we don't have culture because we don't have principles. Now, that's this. I got a new camera and apparently me pointing up made that mother zoom all the way in like this. I don't know how to go back and do this. Is that gonna work? Shrink, go back where you was. I don't want to be like this. I don't know how to change the camera though. See, that's why I need a technician. Because see, I talk with my hands, and now this camera is just gonna be sitting here doing whatever I say do. And I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying to do. Camera, go back, get away, back up. I did this, right? I was just sitting here like this. Let me see. What's the opposite? Camera, are you watching? You looking right at me? Okay. All right, family. I guess this is how y'all gonna see me. This is what you get now. You get all the way up close and personal. All right. So my point is this, family. You know how we'll see someone who is of a different race than us, different ethnicity, and they may be dressed like us, listening to our music, have our hairstyles, right? Doing our dances, and we'll say they're culture vultures. But what we're talking about is how we portray ourselves, the look of us. But principles, what is our culture and principles? Like, is someone taking our principles and we're calling them culture vultures, or they're looking like us and we're calling how we look our culture? Because what I'm saying is we have a very superficial culture. There's really no depth. And this is why we're at the bottom of the social scale. Okay. Right now, we live in a world where a lot of men and a lot of women are simply just not getting along. They don't want to get married anymore. They seem as though they'd rather just be by themselves, right? Now, that's not unity, right? That's actually disharmony. Now, that's also in your communities. You have men that don't want to marry women and women that don't want to marry men. That's what we have. Now, what does this mean? This means that you will be single longer, okay? And this means that you will have to pay all of your expenses on your own. Most of the world does not make a whole lot of money. Most of us on our own can't truly succeed. We'll only struggle. So we'll be on struggle street by ourselves. And it sometimes will take another person in your life working with you to cover these expenses. Now, roommates can move in together and they can pay the bills together and do this for years, right? You get people from other countries that will come here and they'll live in a house together, pay that house off, get another house, pay that house off. But we can't even, like our culture, family, 70% divorce rate, which is higher than any other culture, okay? We can't seem to manage monogamy together. Now, I have a poly union, and a lot of people say, well, you're wrong for that poly union. But I'm saying that we're in more of a detriment than we can even imagine because we can't even be monogamous for long. We can't be monogamous long enough to pay off a house. We can't be monogamous long enough to get our financial freedom because we argue so much and divorce over everything. And when we divorce, we cripple each other's finances. When she leaves him, she takes alimony. She gets child support for the child. That child could be in the home, but now his child is no longer in the home. His child outside the home. So now his home expenses and his child are different. Now the child is an additional expense, not just the living expense. She takes the child from him. She does not have him no longer helping with the bills. So often this single mother will have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to maintain this child. Now, here's the problem with that. Now she's not home with the child. Now the school system, the institutions are raising your children. She's not there most of the time. So we create these broken homes, right? And so now this woman has a child that she's had with some guy, right? With this guy, they have a child together. And when you have a child together, you should be negotiating how you guys can be harmonic for the child, because you're raising a child now, right? So it's very important that you guys can get along to raise this child. Now, many people can't get along to pay off a house, like I said, but can you get along to raise your child healthy? But most of us can't even do that. We typically get the child weaponized. Men mostly purport that their child is weaponized against them. They cannot actively be in their child's life once they're no longer with the mother. She'll make it difficult for them. And some women purport that men don't care about being fathers once they're not with them anymore. So just imagine this. You're a woman and you have a man and y'all break up. Now, he was a great father before y'all broke up, but now that y'all broke up, he just don't come by no more. Fatherhood stopped the day y'all stopped dealing with each other. Isn't that horrible? Because you have a child with this man. It doesn't matter whether or not y'all going to stay intimate. Y'all should definitely try and work it out for the children, right? But that's not happening. So I recognize that all of these issues are happening now. And when I say we don't have any culture, it's because we don't have any principles that we practice to make a relationship harmonic. We don't really know how to treat each other. We're arguing about the very roles that we're given. So we don't really want to do anything in a marriage. So we're not really trying to negotiate with another person and work with them, right? Keeping us single, paying bills on our own. You get it? Now, Black people largely are doing this, paying all their bills on their own. So you're left out to dry on your own and you don't have a partner. But with a partner, you would have this help. You would have financial help. You would have help with your children. 2 heads are always better than 1, right? Now, everything I'm saying, family, is not going to be true for every family, but we're generally speaking, the Black community, family, is in absolute detriment. So we're talking about overall, family. Overall, we see these issues glaring at us. So what do we do to correct them? Because the children are suffering. So you hear the lady I'm talking to, right? So Lacey's playing the woman that I'm talking to. And I run it by her, okay? All I need you to do is just pay a portion of the rent. Right now, you're paying everything. In my mind, I'm sure that she's going to love to hear this, but she didn't. She paused. So right now, she's paying more than what I'm asking her to pay. Why do you guys think she paused? Was she expecting that she wouldn't have to pay a single thing? Even though she's moving in with a man, was she expecting to not be responsible for anything? Is this why she held the cup and didn't want to, she didn't really want to, she didn't like that. Let's do this. Reverse it. Let's just say there's a guy, okay? He has a child and he's talking to a woman about them being together. Now, she right now has the place. He's going to move closer to her, so he would be moving in with her. So they're talking about going in 50-50. We're going to do 50-50 on the bills. And let's say he goes, I'm great with 50-50. And what if she goes, well, we can't do 50-50 now. I'm thinking more like 70-30 because you are bringing your 8-year-old son into this. What if he goes, I don't get that. Why can't it still be 50-50? And what if she goes, well, your child is not my responsibility, frankly. Not to offend you, but your child is your responsibility and it's his mother's responsibility. I should not share in that responsibility. Don't you agree? And what if he said, no, if you're going to be with me, you got to take care of my child too. And the woman would be sitting there saying, everything I'm saying is reasonable. You have a child. So naturally, it's not just you coming into the home. So of course, that child would likely have their own room, as they won't be sharing one with us, meaning they probably have their own TV, their own game systems. They'll be having lights on, and they will be using energy where they are. They will need to eat. Why don't you cover that, as that is your responsibility? Right? Wouldn't it make more sense? But from this flip side, when a woman hears that, it's like, yo, he's telling me he won't take care of my child, and we got to grow out of that. We can't be listening to what somebody's saying with ego. You got to hear the man. He's trying to protect himself too, but he's also protecting you. But it's more, we can't see this as a he's just a bad person type thing because he won't pay for everything. That can't be how you treat a man. You have to understand that's not his child. Just like he would have to understand his child is not her child. Now, he loves his child with all of his heart, but to her, she doesn't know the child yet. You got to respect that, right? So let's continue. Does anybody have any issues with what has been said thus far? I'm not saying anybody blatantly disagreeing, so I'll continue. Okay, let's continue.
Sure, a percentage of the rent. Well, you paying. Think about it. You're paying all your bills now, so you're paying all of your rent. You're paying your lights. You're paying your water. You're paying for your food bill. All that. What I would require is just a portion of the rent.
Okay.
Of the
Now, I'm not trying to offend, but I kind of took you for the chivalrous, I provide kind of guy.
Sure. I am that type of guy. Very traditional. Want to be very traditional, but that's typically if I'm getting into a relationship with a traditional type person. Then that you already do have a child. I don't have a child. I know that you and the father work well together to take care of your child, but that won't be my child. So I wouldn't really truly be able to raise that child in the way I would like to. And my program being is not my child. I know you wouldn't allow that because you're already raising your child. And if we don't work out, then I know you're going to take your child with you. So I don't want to be spending all the expenses for your child before we get married. Right now I want to move in. I want you to move in with me so we can really focus on our relationship. I want you to handle the financial burden or toll of your child, if that makes sense.
Okay, family. This thing's still very much in my face. But okay, here we are. See if anybody's talking, what anybody's saying. Hart says you're hitting the nails on the head. I appreciate that. No issues here. Okay. You're both saving money, right? He wanted his father to take care of his only son. Now my son is unbalanced. That's what you're talking about, a situation he came out of. Okay. Okay, so I'm saying that you guys don't have any disagreements, but if you notice here, we got to this point to where he's telling her, okay, I won't actually be able to father your child like I would my own child. Your child is already on your program. So if I were to try and father your child, I can assume that you would be in the way of that. I'm sure you're not going to let me actually truly discipline and guide and lead your child day one. I'm sure you're not going to. Now, family, isn't that true? Like, have you guys seen that whenever you get with a woman who already has a child, does she let you father her child without her intervening? Does she let you actually give her child structure and teach your child how to raise your child up and raise her child up into how to be a man or woman without her intervening? And is the child very receptive to you? Because I want single mothers to understand that her child is her child. While she loves it, absolutely she loves it. It's her child. And she's going to be raising that child, her and that man likely that she had the child with. Now, the person that she's going to be bringing the child into the life of, that child may not even be receptive to that man. So that man is actually going to have his hands full, right? He has to raise a child that probably doesn't want to be raised by him. He's going to have to raise a child that probably loves their father and would rather their father to raise him and will project that onto him, okay? He still has to deal with the father accessing the mother having to reach out to the father. So a lot of men don't want to marry a woman who has male friends or has other males that she still deals with for anything. But if she has a baby's father, there is a man who will always be in her life. Now, the woman, she's like, yo, I don't see why that's a problem. Of course she doesn't, but she doesn't understand a man who marries a woman who doesn't have children would not have to worry about that. So being that she does have a child, who do you think is responsible for that difference of a life that a man is going to have to experience? She is. Now, in a world we live in, men are always responsible for their children, or they have to be. And if they're not, they're usually penalized for it, or they go to jail for lack of child support, right? Or they get penalized by the mother. The mother will either not let them see their child because they haven't been doing the right things or doing whatever she deems is the right thing. So she'll say, you're not coming to see him until you do this right. Or the court system will do that. But the man, we expect him to be responsible for his child regardless. A man is responsible for his child even if she goes and gets another man. So if she moves on and another man and marries another man, is that man still not responsible for his child that's living with that man and that woman and her new husband? The man is always responsible for his child. He has to be, or he'll go to jail. So what I'm trying to get people to understand in the video is the mother must also consider, if you go and have a baby with somebody that you're not married with, you need to know that you're also required to be responsible for your child. Always, you're always responsible for your child. So if you go move in with a guy and you're still requiring their father to be responsible for your child, but you're also expecting this new guy to be responsible for your child, you must be expecting yourself to be responsible for your child, right? Because it's your child. So know that a child is going to change your life, but we're just having children and we're not thinking about how it will change our life. So when the next man is saying, yo, I like you, but this is how I want to move, or I don't want to marry you because you have a child, it's like, well, I'm mad and you're a jerk for judging me and trying to treat me some kind of way. But please understand how differently his life will look because you have a child. Let's say you say, well, I don't deal with the man that I had my child with at all. He's a deadbeat, never have to see him again. But that man still has to share you with your child. See, that's not his child. And when your child is crying and needs you and you have to go be with your child, you're not with him, so he doesn't have 100% access to you. Now, if you did not have a child, you wouldn't have to go and take care of a child. See? Now, ladies, if he has a child already, typically his child doesn't live with him, right? But you guys are still concerned about if he has baby mother drama, right? Because you already know that woman that's outside of the home, right, that has his child, has a leash on him or has a hook into him. Soon as he moves on with another woman, typically you see the mother of his child getting angry at him and punish him for moving on. How many times have we saw that? So whenever you go into a relationship with a man that already has a child, shouldn't he understand that you got to deal with a lot just because he has a child? He may be a good man, but it doesn't mean that he won't have some baby's mama that wants to ruin his life because he moved on. It doesn't mean that he won't have some baby's mama who want more child support because he started making more money, as if the child's needs increased because he got a raise today. See, a lot of you guys still think it's okay that men go to jail or people go to jail for lack of child support, for not paying child support, when that is not a crime. A crime is vandalizing somebody's stuff, stealing something, harming someone. When two people have a child together, it should be a civil issue. The sheer fact that the government throws people into the legal slave trade because they didn't take care of their kids, which ain't got nothing to do with the government, is sad. And many of you guys who think that that's not a fact, I want you all to imagine a woman sitting in prison because she didn't pay child support. Does that seem right to you? That she's in prison with murderers, thieves, rapists, and all because she didn't pay child support. Okay, she's a bad mother. Is that a crime? Should she be locked up? Because Does locking her up help the child? That's my question. If they come and lock her up because she's not paying child support, does that get the child taken care of? Does that get the child supported? No. Now they can't actually be responsive in their child's life because they're in jail. That's another way they usurp the power in our cultures, by putting our men and women in jail. All right, I'll continue. Let's go to the rest of the video and we'll just keep on going, okay? But just keep these thoughts in your mind as I'm talking, okay?
Now, I guess I'm just a little taken back by it. Now, I'm not going to say that, I mean, I guess there are people that feel the same, I would imagine. But I had my child young, and you already know that. And I wasn't careless after I had my child. And she's a good kid, beyond a good kid. Not to mention, I know I am a good woman. So to think that me having that child young and changing my life would, in a sense, devalue me to where now, because of my daughter, I'm expected to contribute a portion as opposed to if she wasn't here.
Sure, I can completely understand that. I guess, and I understand on that too. Your child is not a bad thing that's happened to you. It's probably one of the most amazing things that's happened to you.
Absolutely.
Obviously, to the child's father as well.
Mm-hmm.
You said you guys take good care of the child.
Absolutely.
Okay? And I respect that. Matt, young when you had the child. Other than that, you are very traditional. You have really been celibate and all that kind of stuff. So that's all amazing. I definitely see value in you.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to think, for me as a man, I'm trying to build something here, and up until this point, I haven't actually gotten to meet your beautiful child. And I know that it's because you don't want just me and meeting the child until it's serious. And that's all respect. But and I know that if you move in, I'll obviously get to the child, and I'll be a great father figure to your child, willing to do that, absolutely. But I'm saying in the beginning, I want to until we get married, I want you to cover that portion, because if it does not work out and you don't get to make it to marriage, I don't want to have invested my funds into a child that's not mine. So just try to think of it from a man's point of view. Is your child is a beautiful child, I'm sure of it, a great child, I'm sure of it, but it's not my child, it's your child. And I'll definitely be there to guide your child, or be whoever I need to be in your child's life if you move in with me. But if we get married, of course, I'm accepting your child as my own, and that's what marriage would mean. But it's
Okay. Family. So basically he's saying to her, she was taken back because she's like, my child is a good child, and I don't see why I have to lose value. But what he's expressing to her is, you didn't lose any value, love. You're still traditional. I'm not holding it against you that, you slept with this guy when you were young. Y'all had a child. Since then, you've been celibate. I would still call you a traditional woman. But it doesn't take away that you have this responsibility. The responsibility is still there. We're not going to be able to ignore it because you say it's a good child. It's a real child. It's a real human being. It's a real boy. It's a real boy. It's a real boy. Right? We can't erase him because he's a good child. He still eats. He still will be someone to invest in. And if she leaves, that good child is going with her. And his heart's going to be broken because he is built and connected with this new child. Loves it like his own. Are you guys considering that that's a risk a man takes? Falling in love with your beautiful child, your smart child, that child that you love so much? What if he loves it so much? You have a special child, right? That's what you guys talk about, how amazing y'all's child is. Don't you think once that man get around your child, he's going to be swept off his feet and want to be there for that child? Now, if you guys don't get along and you decide to leave, you're leaving and you're taking that child. So now his heart's broken over two people, not one. You don't think he worried about that? Falling in love with a child? You don't think he's worried about that child falling in love with him? And then and then when you leave, the child is broken too? Now, notice that he spoke and said that, look, I haven't even met your child because she wants to protect her child, which is respectable. See, because she knows that side of it. She says, hey, I'm not going to let you meet my child yet until it's something I believe is serious, because I'm not having men coming in and out of my child's life. Well, why wouldn't she do that, family? That's a smart move on her part. He should not have been all up in the child's face. But how many women do we see push their child into a man's face? Look, it's backing back up. I did something. Maybe I do this. I don't know what I did, but it backed up, family. But how many times do you see a woman just met this guy and she's already wanting him to meet her child? She's already wanting to bring her child around him. She's already wanting him to buy food for her child and even holding him accountable to buying food for her child. But your child is your responsibility. Saw a video the other day. Okay. Guy picks a girl up. Girl says, hey, let's go by the drive-thru. I want to get my son a burger fry. He gets the son a burger fry. She has to pay for it. She said she knew then that he wasn't getting no closer to her, because if he can't do something like that. Now, me personally, I would have said, I got the fry and burger. But if a man doesn't do that, why do you think that means he's a bad man instead of just a different thinking man? What if he thinks that's your responsibility to take care of your child? What if he thinks that? See, we're so quick to introduce strangers to our children. When our children see this, they start behaving like we behave. They start thinking it's okay to juggle all these people. What you gonna call them? Your friends? Call them his uncles? Like, don't confuse your child because you want to date and meet these people. Keep them people away from your child, man, till you know they're serious. You don't know who this man is. He could bring your child a lot of harm. You don't know him. She doesn't know who that man is, y'all. So she is right. But a lot of you guys are saying, I thought he was traditional. Why won't he just marry her? Well, you do have to take into account that she has a child outside of him. You don't think he wants to see how she treats this child daily? Getting her closer to him would help him be able to vet her better. But he's going to accommodate most of her financial burden while she does that. Y'all don't think that's fair? Think about it. It's not worth building that, like making that transition to make your relationship a little bit more serious and see what that's about. Natasha said, I see a lot of women do that. It's not healthy to bring all these strangers around your children. You should wait and vet them people. That's very important. You should vet. You got to think about this, family. If you're not vetting people before you bring them into your life and into your womb, you definitely should before you bring your child into their life or them into your child's life, because like you, as a mother, you do realize that you're your child's protector, right? They're with you. Like if they're in your custody, who do you think the protector of that child is? I mean, you know it's the father as well, but you got to make a phone call for that because he doesn't have custody of the child. You have it. So who do you think is responsible for the child's safety? But how quickly do we allow these men around our children? These women around our children prematurely? Think about this, family. What is a premature baby? It's a baby that's born malnourished, right? A baby that didn't reach full term inside the womb. What if I told you we were all born preemie? Whether or not we were born 8 pounds, 9 pounds or not, we were born premature. Someone who was not mature yet birthed us. They birthed us before they were mature. And because of that, they raised us up to be very malnourished, which is contributing to our destroyed culture that you see today. We're all preemies. And there was no incubator that could get us the nourishment that we needed. We had to come out and instantly start performing. Something else I do with my hand. Here this thing is again. Somebody type that in. We were all born premature. We were born to premature people. Those people who raised us are still very premature. mature. You came out of their body before they matured, and you moved out of their house before they still matured. They put you out before you matured. So you're out here flying by the seat of your pants, was not raised the right way. You weren't raised to be able to create a marriage. You weren't raised to know how to create a long-lasting relationship. You were not raised to know what credit was and how to pay your bills. You got kicked out from your house by your premature parents because they said you was eating up all the food, because you turned 18, because you disagreed with them. We're all born to premature people, making us preemies. Yeah, the data that you never received caused you to be malnourished. So we keep creating the same world that we were born into because we refuse to correct the problems that our premature families birthed us into. We forgot why we came here. We came here to fix the problem, but now we are contributing to the problem. So we're going to be those parents who birthed premature babies, and then we just gotta hope that they remember that they came here to fix this shit before it's too late, because we've forgotten. Now we don't need a man. Now we don't need a woman. Do you raise your child to know what to do when someone cheats on them? What if you lost your son to a crime because his girl cheated on him and he didn't know how to handle it and he hurt her? Are you preparing your son for that? Are you preparing your daughter to not cheat because it could lose her life and put her at risk? Are you preparing her to not, are you raising her to not go out here and play with people's hearts and minds? Because people don't know how to move. Are you raising your daughter on how to negotiate a relationship with a man and not have everything her way? Are you negotiating with your sons on how to work with a woman and not bully her into having everything your way, but that she also needs to feel secure and seen in the relationship? Are you raising him to be that way? Or is your son just trying to see how much sex he can get, and he's not actually maintaining any type of relationships with none of those women? So when your child gets cheated on and they don't know how to handle it and they flip the script, who do you think that falls on, family? So let me tell y'all something. We're more responsible for our children than we realize, and we think that we're not responsible for them after 18. But how you raise them, if they're not mature enough by 18, damn it, you ain't done. And if you didn't know what to teach them by 18, don't hate yourself now. I'm not saying we should all beat ourselves up, but when you learn that you missed the mark and you didn't teach them some stuff that you should have taught them, you're still their father, right? You're still their mother, right? Man, go and correct your future selves. Make this right. Now, ain't nobody on here can tell me I'm wrong now. But you got to think our culture is reflecting how we raised our children and how we were raised. It ain't racism. We wake up every day and negotiate these relationships to be what they are. We doing this. If there is racism, it ain't so bad that it's making us do this. We doing this, family. Let's be real. We do not raise our children to go out and create a harmonic home. Now, we argue about if God man or woman. God is man and woman when they join together. God is masculine and feminine when it becomes one. See, I heard a girl told me the other day, she said, well, women are gods, right? Because they birthed the babies. And I said, but the babies come from men. See, it's like, have we forgotten that the man is carrying the baby his whole life? Yo, have we forgot that? It's following me. Look, if I lean over here, it leans with me. If I lean back, like, that's a nice little setup. Okay. Together we are God, because that's how we create. Can you create a child on your own, family? No, you need a man, yo. Stop saying you don't need a man. It all sounds good. Can you create a child on your own, sir? Together with God. When we can be harmonic, we create. If we cannot be harmonic, we die. Be fruitful and multiply. Be harmonic, man, and you will multiply. But if you be divisive, you will be destroyed. We are divisive. We're constantly trying to divide and separate. We're not inclusive. We as a community, we excommunicate our own siblings because they don't believe in the same religion or share the same politics. So we'll excommunicate each other over ideas. See, these other cultures don't do that. Not in large part like we do. See, our beliefs, our religions, them things are more important to us than our own children. You know what we should be excommunicating over? How we treat each other. Yeah. You should excommunicate somebody if they molest somebody in your family, not cover it up. But Uncle such and such, who touched your daughter, who touched your niece, Aunt such and such, who practiced kissing with your little nephew, oh, she's still in the family. But brother such and such, who don't believe no more, oh, he the devil. See, these other cultures, family, they learn how to work together and work together. And they know that working together is good because there's a predator out there. And that predator, some of y'all call it the devil. Some of y'all say it's the devil, a demon, a real spirit being walking around as a roaring lion seeking who they can devour. The enemy is like a roaring lion seeking who it can devour. But I don't say it's a spirit. I'd say it's the conditions that we create whenever we're not harmonic with each other. I don't say it's a person at all. I talked the other day on my show about zebras and how they all have different stripes. And they can sit up all day and argue about how their stripes are different and how they're better than each other because their stripes are different. They can do that all day. They have relationships too that don't go right too. They argue about it too. But if you leave that pack, you will be consumed by that lion. So you better stay with the pack, because staying with the pack is what keeps you safe. Well, what do we do, family? Are we really trying to stay with the pack, or do we want our own place? I got my own car, 2 jobs, work hard. I'm a bad bro. Right? Do you not realize we are very immature? We are premature. How many of y'all want to have kids, have a desire to have kids? How many of y'all as children had your mind set on creating children, getting a wife? Because see, we should be going through seasons in life. This is the part we're not getting. We should be going through seasons. By the time a boy gets out of school, he should be focused on manifesting. By the time a girl gets out of school, she should be focusing on what it is that she wants for her life, what type of man she wants for her life, because she knows that she's in her prime for the next 5 to 7 years. If she's 18, by 25, her body would go through changes on the inside. So the best time to create a child is during that time. So women should mature faster than men, meaning they should be ready to enter into that season of being a family person before typically a man would. Why is that, Kevin? Is it because men typically are responsible for the burden of financially taking care of and providing for the family? So they can't really do that at 18. So because of that, they should spend those years going and becoming somebody. Where a woman who now, or building with someone who can build with him. So I actually think relationships look better when 2 people get together young and build together, manifest their reality together. Neither one of you are rich. Both of you are depending on each other to manifest your reality. So you actually are responsible for each other, because you know you need that man to be a good man. You know you need him to be consistent. And he know he needs you to be faithful and loyal. And you both should be working and trying to make sure that both people have what they need. Because without each other, you on your ass. Right? Without him, you fail. Without her, he fails. So you need each other, but y'all don't need each other no more. And y'all pride yourself on not needing each other. Think about this. How are we ever going to unify if we take pride in not needing each other? We're not mature. How many men you know are grown as crap and do not want a wife nor kids? So you just want to die and not recreate yourself? You don't think that's unnatural? Now, forgive me, I'm not saying everybody should want a child. And I'm not saying that you are less of a man if you can't produce children. Sometimes, us as men, we have biological issues where we can't produce, just like sometimes that happens in women. I'm not saying that you're worth less. Please don't turn this into something I'm not saying. But I'm saying a person with no desire to marry and have children. Yo, look at the world, man. Ain't that what all mammals do? Like all animals want to do that. So you got to think, like, if I'm saying I don't want that, am I mature? Like, am I mature? Because family is needed to get to that next stage in life. Who are you going to leave it to? And this is stuff we don't think about. Who are you going to leave it to, King? You're going to create your whole life. Who are you going to leave it to? See, because you're supposed to leave that as an inheritance. Who are you going to teach everything that you experienced to, King, as you went across the world, traveling the world and journeying the world and becoming a more enlightened being, a more capable being? Who are you passing that on to, King? You don't have no desire to create a family? Don't make sense, because you're out here smashing and creating single mothers. And now these single mothers are having to try to find a way to negotiate with some new guy and get that poor guy to try and love their child like you would love your child. Because most men who say, I don't want a child, most men who say, I don't want marriage, they still not hesitating to sleep with you. And sex is how you get all of that stuff. So what we're saying is, I don't want marriage. I don't want government marriage, but I'll still do nature marriage with you. Nature marriage is y'all sleeping together. That's the contract that seals the deal, fam. But we still out here doing nature marriage. Not God, that's the truest marriage of all. See, y'all think that, oh, it's only real if the government involved and somebody give us a piece of. I keep telling you, y'all are paper people. Paper people. Made of paper. It's all propaganda. Just prop up and take a propaganda. These paper people turn paper to plots of land. They trade paper money with paper presidents on it and print it in God we trust. Wait, and trust is paper. A trust is paper, right? They also pray to a paper God. And the paper God that they pray to said that it demands paper. And the paper God they read about, they read from a paper book. But to find this God, there seems to be no paper trail. And if you try to have a conversation with them about logic, they don't seem to be able to fight their way out of a paper bag. Maybe it's because they're under the paper's spell. But these paper tails have no paper trails, and they can't punch their way out of a paper bag because they're under the paper spell. A bunch of pen pals. Bunch of pen pals. Ooh. Peace, King. I'm doing a live. My bad. I'll check it right now and text you right back. All right, bet. A bunch of pen pals. Ooh. And they'll never get their walking papers. They'll never be freed from it because they won't realize that they just walk in paper. crazy, man. They'll threaten everybody with hell, and they won't realize they just talking paper. You just talking paper. When are we going to bring something tangible to our communities, family? And get out of the paper and start being real. Start being real, holding each other accountable to what's real. Why won't we tell people that they're taking our culture when they're taking our principles instead of a haircut? Let a white person braid their hair. Oh, they still in our culture. Right, because you have no culture. No principled culture. Yeah, let them dress like you. Let them rap or sing hip hop. And that's your culture, right? That's your culture. That's what our ancestors practiced, is hip hop. That's how we're going to raise our children and get them back to that next level of harmony and kings and queens, right? Braids. That's how we do that. And if a white person get braids, that's somehow keeping us from our culture, right? So shame on them. So let's talk shit to them for taking our culture, right? But you've been perming your hair for years. Who culture you taking? Well, they taught us to do that. Well, you still do it and you still know not to do it. Y'all gonna hate me because y'all, it's like, I know the truth really digs in. I don't want y'all to hate me. I want y'all to listen to the truth and know I love all of y'all. I love all of y'all. And I've been guilty of the same shit I grew up in. So I'm not saying I'm exempt. I'm not saying that y'all, shame on y'all and y'all need to be better. And I'm some hope. No. I've lived in this shit and contributed to all this. When I was out here running the streets, I was sleeping with women too. Fortunately, I didn't give them children. But I ain't no better than y'all. I'm just somebody who saw the shit and said, you know what? We got to correct this. Or our communities are going to keep dying. What is your culture, man? And tell me right now, family, tell me right now, this is going to hurt. Tell me right now, Black people's culture by way of principles, something that you stand on as a principle that's taught to Black people. Tell me that. I'm listening. Tell me. This is what I call culture. Yeah, the things you wake up and do every day, that creates your culture. So if you're waking up every day and you're working together to create a better future, that would create a culture of unity. And that is called success. But do we wake up every day and work together, family? Do we spend money together? Do we get mad at each other when they start talking about doing better? Do we criticize people for stepping out on their talents? Do we tell them it's terrible and don't quit your day job? Like, family, how do we really treat each other? Do we really have principles that we can say that are cultural in our community that should be leading to a better world? I'm not trying to hurt y'all feelings or trigger y'all, but I'm trying to get y'all to listen. If you're going to respond, don't do it with hate now. Some of y'all going to make videos debating me and talking junk about me and ad hominem me and talk about my wives, my mama and everything. And you ain't going to say nothing about the rhetoric that I'm saying. I need y'all to deal with that. What do we have? I'm listening for y'all now. I'm watching the comments. Nobody's named a principle yet. Yo, that's crazy. What principles, family? Now, if you got to sit here and think about it and you raise Black, now we can all talk about what we like to eat, what type of music we like to listen to, what's our favorite dances. We like to take napkins. We can all talk about that stuff. But do we plan our food? Do we preserve our food? No, we used to do that. While you guys are thinking about it, I'll come back and check. I'm going to continue the video and we'll get on to the next talking point. Breathe. Please, family, breathe. Until then, I want to be able to still stack my funds and use them towards my planning goals in life. And if you didn't have a child now, then yeah, absolutely, you would be able to come in and I would cover all expenses. But because you don't have a child, we have to. I would prefer you to be responsible for that burden. I'm sure now you still probably get help from that husband. From the person, from the guy you had a child with, I'm sure, because you said he helps out with your child. So I'm sure he'll be still providing you financial aid. And consider this: you'll be living with me, so you won't have all those bills that you did have, and you'll still be requiring him to give you what you're expecting from him. So if I do that too, then you essentially have two men taking care of your child. He's going to always be their father, while I may not always be. I'm very interested in you. I want to take this seriously with you, but that's just how I want to move going into this. I'm hoping that you can understand.
Okay, so let's say this is
one more thing. I can think about this. I'll have to share you with him. Okay, like he'll you said you guys meet up twice a month to spend time with your child. That's not something typically I would normally deal with. A woman having a male person outside of me, but I know that that's your child's father. He's going to be in your life, and so I have to share you with him. While it may not be intimate, I have to share you with him, and also your child. I have to share you with your child. When your child needs you, I won't be able to have you. That's not my child that you will be going to the aid of. It'll be your child. You see what I'm saying? So I won't. While I see value in you, I don't get all of you as I would get with a woman who did not have any children, and we can have our own child together and have our own program together. But right now, we can't move and travel the world like we'd like to without you consulting with their father, which respect. I absolutely understand that. You see what I'm saying? But because you are bringing a child to this relationship, that responsibility, I believe that you should carry to cover those expenses. I'm not asking you to pay, the water bill and things like that, but I'm just saying cover the living expenses of your child, what it would be like for room and board, so to speak. Now I'm gonna stop it there because someone said something the other day. They was like, well, if he just asked her to just pay like a light bill or something because her child would run up the lights a little more than what they normally ran up, I would understand. But the fact that he asking her to pay like rent, which don't go up because somebody moving, I don't understand. Well, my point is like, why does it doesn't like the fact is I'm asking her to contribute a certain amount. It doesn't matter where I'm going to apply it. Whether because I said it was for rent or just the responsibility, her taking care of her responsibility that the child would bring along to me. Money is money, and I'm asking her for a percentage of it. So I do feel like a lot of you guys that argued, well, if it was for lights, I will understand. But being that he said rent, if I'm asking her for $500 a month, family, $1,000 a month, I'm asking for that per month, regardless of where I put it. You see what I'm saying? Like, it would not be. I don't see how you guys are making that part of the argument. But I wanted to pause it there because I wanted to say that. You know what I mean? I'll continue.
I have to admit, my mind is like going everywhere. Just taking it in. Now you say this is to work your way up to marriage.
Sure.
What is your idea of a decent time frame before you are convinced that this is somebody that you want to marry? Because coming from my position, even though all of the risk that you say, it makes sense, there's a substantial amount of risk that I'm taking. And even more so because I have a child. So I am introducing you to my child. I am bringing my child into your life for you now to be an influence on my child. Thank you.
I don't think so. Thank you.
And hopefully taking your last name and then some. And while I can understand all of the risks. I guess I don't understand how me uprooting not only myself but my child should simultaneously cost me.
See, I see it as a game because you are going to save so much in your income. But at the same time, I do understand what you're saying. We are going to be intimate and we're not technically married. That's another body count, things of that nature. What I will say is this, because I'm so serious about you, if you were to get pregnant during that time, I would want to go ahead and move to marriage before our baby got there because I'm very traditional. However, if you did not get pregnant, everything goes well, I would like to marry inside of at least about 6 to 8 months.
So she had some concerns, and those concerns were very logical, weren't they? She's like, I'm taking a risk. I'll be moving in with you. You'll be meeting my son, right? And the thing about it is, every risk that she names is also a risk for him. So yes, he would be meeting her son. So what can happen there is the son could develop, feelings for him, or really begin to love him. And he also could do the same. So this is a two-part thing. Now, she is bringing her child into a man's life, and she don't really know who he is yet, and he could be some monster, okay, and do horrible things to her child. But let's say that that's the same risk for him. Let's say that he could risk being accused of that because he don't know her or that child. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't know how the child has been traumatized in the past. He might go to pick the child up. What if it's a little girl? He picked the child up and the child feels like he touched her wrong. You think he don't want to have to go through no shit like that. And she don't want her child to have to go through no shit like that. And so both sides should be understandable for what both people could be risking and going through. So in that video, I didn't go into that because I didn't think it was necessary. I wanted to say that for this specific video. But also, I want you to see how she asked, what's your views on marriage? What's the timeline? No, family, good question. Some of you guys said, how dare she ask that? Hey, why don't she have a right to ask that? He's saying that he's serious about her. She wants to know what being serious looks like for him. Like, how soon do you think? How soon are you thinking? Because this is important for her. And that's a question that he should definitely answer. And notice how he did, okay? If you get pregnant, say if we're being intimate before we get married and you get pregnant, I want to marry you. I want to go ahead and do it because you're going to have my child and I'm traditional and I want to go ahead and make that happen. And that would be my fault because we did it and got pregnant. I can't argue with you on that. So I'm going to be accountable to my responsibilities and I will marry you. You won't have to be a single mother again. If it's up to me, you won't. Now, let's say he said, well, what he did say, if it goes well and you don't get pregnant, I'm looking to get married inside of 6 to 8 months. That's reasonable because marriage is a huge commitment, family. That would give him enough time to vet her and see how she raises her child because he's going to be giving her a child. So he wants to see how she raises that child. He also wants to see how she treats that man that she had a child with. If he marries her today before she ever moved in, because a lot of y'all said, why won't he just marry her today then? Yo, because she already has a child outside of him. Now, that's a risk he might be willing to take if she doesn't have a child. But even then, that's a risk. Okay, but if she has a child, he wants to see how does she maintain a relationship with that man because, today everything's peachy. See, here's what y'all got to understand. When y'all create a child with somebody, please know that while you were creating that child, y'all was working together. That's how you got the child. Your harmony is what created the child. It didn't get created because y'all had a relationship. It got created because y'all was in harmony together. Y'all was doing stuff. Y'all was doing it. How much more can two people work together than to have sex together? That's what creates life. This life that we all wake up thanking God for. This life that we always wake up to say, well, at least I'm above ground. Did you know how you got above ground? Did you know how you breathe in air? Do you know that? It's like when babies say, how are babies born? We laugh at them. Well, maybe adults need to be reminded how babies are born. You get babies by doing it, by working together, by being harmonic together. that you raise babies by doing the same thing, but we don't want to do that because that's, sex is a lot easier than raising a child together. Right, I get it. That was the fun part. But the mature, responsible part is what you must not fail to do, or you will fail your child, because sleeping around and creating the child doesn't equal a successful child. Once you get them here, now it's responsibility. And that don't feel like an orgasm, does it? When you're raising your child, it don't feel like sex, do it? Right? The sex is easy because it feels good. But the result of sex is child. And we don't want to be accountable to that. And that makes us sick. We're sick because of that. No, Caroline, it is not. But that's less than 1% of people who got here. So I'm telling you now, if it's not consensual, it is not harmony. That is chaos. Do you understand? But this is why in the Bible, God says that he's chaos and calamity. Because what you have to understand is this, family. While we all didn't get here in a beautiful way, we're here. And what do we say? To God be the glory. Because you are chaos and you are all things good. See, we got here through slavery, through a lot of that RAPE stuff. We got here through a lot of slave masters taking our ancestors and giving them children. But the grandkids of those children are still here today and happy to be here, right? So you must accept that I am. This is why you say I am, right? Thank you, Caroline. She says, thank you. I agree with that. I am is what we say God is. Where at some point you have to accept that you are the I am. You are all the bad and good that's ever happened into this world. You are the manifestation of that. And what we are trying to do now is make corrections. Are you going to continue to be the negative? Because when you were born, you were already born the negative and the positive. You're every negative thing that's ever happened in this world. You're every negative thing that they've ever done. Yeah, your grandpa did that. Your grandma did that. But now you're here. Does that mean you evil? No. There's some good deeds that everybody has done to get you here too. But you are a manifestation of everything that's ever happened on this plane. Accept that. So when I'm talking about harmony, I'm only talking about the majority. Mostly we agree to this. Mostly we consensually do this. On few occasions, it's not consensual. That isn't a beautiful moment, family. And I actually believe in abortion if it's that type of thing. You understand? I believe in abortion if it's that type of thing, if it's not consensual. But if it is consensual, I do not believe in it, because I believe that we should be responsible for the actions that we take, especially when they create a life. So even though it doesn't feel good necessarily to raise your child, we should be still raising our child, because if we don't do that, we'll have broken children. And our children will be doomed to carry on the legacy that we so lovingly want them to carry on, because we didn't fortify them enough. So it's like I'm building a house on sinking sand, but I didn't put a foundation down. And now I'm upset that the house is sinking. So you birthed a beautiful child, yes, but you didn't fortify that child with upbringing, with consistency, with purpose. Oh, adoption gives a child a chance to have a mother and father. See, I speak up for the ancestors. My ancestors called me family. They chose me to speak on their behalf. They're still coming to this world to do what they've always done, heal it and make the world a better place. But they can't get here because we keep aborting them. And when they get here, they don't know what to do with themselves because they don't have no guidance from their fathers and sometimes their mothers. So the ancestors are speaking into my spirit saying, Kevin, tell them to correct these issues. You cannot expect the child to get here, family, and fix the world and make the world a better place if we've made them worse just by raising them. Jay, what you mean, sir? What you mean, King? What did I say that you think somebody will switch it up based on I'm not sure what you're talking about. Tell me what you mean, King. I'm gonna play the video, something. I'll come back and see what your comment says. So I don't believe it takes a man a long time to find a good wife, to find the one to spend the rest of his life with. I truly already believe. Now I'm not saying it can't be sooner. One thing I was going to say, family, is my point was saying that she's okay in asking, what about the internet? Jay, please say a complete sentence so I can grasp what you're trying to say, King. My bad. I just don't know. But my point was this, family. When she says, how long is it going to take? How long are you looking into marriage? Notice how I gave her a direct answer. Now I'm going to flip the script. Let's say a man he's interested in a woman and she is not ready to have sex yet. Let's say he goes, well, what's your timeline? Like, what's typically like your standards around sex? If she goes, well, I'm just not ready yet, and you're just gonna have to be patient with me, that is not the way to handle that, because you leave him to be uncertain about what's going on, and he don't know if he's being played. So imagine she asks him that same question. What's your timeline look like for something like marriage? Now, marriage is more serious than sex. In fact, a commitment without marriage is more serious than sex. You'd think a lot longer and harder about committing to someone than you would before you just slept with them, right? And this is why a lot of you guys will sleep with somebody that you're not with, because commitment takes work. You don't want to be with somebody who you know is not worthy of a commitment. So a commitment is worth more than sex. So if he asks her, when is she going to be ready to do that, and she goes, well, it's just up in the air at this point. You just got to wait on when I'm ready. Then do you understand he will feel like, yo, I'm just being played. She's just trying to see if she can plug into me and see how much she can take from me until she hyperverbally gives me what she's ready to give me. How about she say, well, I normally stand at myself on at least like 6 months. And before I even do that, I'm going to want you to meet my parents, and I'm going to want to meet yours, or at least your people that you're close to, because I don't believe in sharing my body with somebody unless I truly know them and I have and I've done all the due diligence to make sure I'm not going to be smashed and dashed, right? See, a woman asked me the other day, she was like, well, Kevin, you talk about how a woman should be careful about her body count because she will be judged by it in the future. But how does a woman do that when men lie? They'll tell you they love you. They'll tell you they really care about you just to get sex. And once they get it, they out of there. You're right. They will do that. Here's what you can do to protect yourself. Have him meet your family. See, if you really like a guy, men, please have my back on this one. Let's say you're dating a girl. You're not interested in her at all, okay? You only are interested in her for sex. Let me say it that way. You're not interested in a relationship. You only want to sleep with her. Let's say she starts saying, I really like you. I want to let you meet my parents. Are you going to go meet her parents and you know that all you want to do is sleep with her? See, this is what I told my client. Men will turn you down because they're not going to go meet your whole family and still smash and dash you. They're not going to do that, especially if they live inside the community. They don't want to see your family out knowing they did you like that. It ain't worth that much to men. It's not worth that much to men. I wait on my brothers to let me know. If you were just interested in her just for sex, she starts talking about meeting my people. Are we not out of there? You'll see the cloud of smoke behind us. Yo, she tripping. She want me to meet her people. She trying to get me to shake hands with her pop, meet all her damn brothers and sisters and aunties. Like, man, I ain't trying to do all of that if I don't want that woman like that. He out of there. Now, what happens when you do introduce him to your father? You make it known that this is a man that you're serious about with your parents. And then after that, you listen to your parents' honest assessment of that man, because you should trust your parents. They've lived longer than you. They've experienced the world longer than you. Mama, what you think of them? Daddy, what you think of them? Bro, what you think of them? Sis, what do you think of them? Ladies, get your tribe involved. You have a tribe. That's what they're for, to help protect you. You don't have a man yet to protect you. You got your father. Well, you should have your father. But look, that's easier said than done, I know. Because now I'm going to point out a major problem, which is why it's easier said than done. If you were to try that, okay? If you were to try to introduce this boy to your father, because you're planning on moving further with him and having sex, your father likely gonna get mad. Because a lot of us men are so immature, we can't imagine our daughter sleeping with nobody. So she's gonna have to sneak around to do it, because we don't want to know about it and we don't want to be involved in it at all. See how this works? Daddy, I got this guy that I really like, and we're thinking about taking our relationship to the next level. You think that's a conversation most of y'all little girls can have with y'all father, y'all immature ass daddy? He can't help that he's that immature. He was raised to be that way. But most of us are like, protect your daughter with a shotgun from all the boys. But do we protect our sons, knowing that girls put them through hell? Babies tricked on him. Lying and said that he abused her and he didn't. Lying and saying he hit her if he didn't. Trying to trick a baby on him, trying to sleep with him just to have a baby with him, to be in a relationship with him. I went to high school too, and I heard little girls saying that stuff. I'll poke a hole in the condom. I'm gonna get him. Trust me, I'm gonna get pregnant by him. Lacey, Lacey, I have conversations. She'll tell me that she went to school and stuff in California, but she'll tell you straight up, like, a lot of women talk like that. Try and get pregnant by a man who you know ain't taking you serious. You feel me? So, but as fathers, do we be like shotguns cocked during prom, but it's aimed at the daughters out there in the world? No. It's only aimed at the sons. Like, you better protect you better make sure you bring my little precious little diamond girl back to me safe, because you're an asshole. And we all know you only want one thing. This is unanimous across Black culture, family. But we have sons. So we're okay with the shotgun in our son's face when he goes to the prom. We're okay with our sons being treated like criminals whenever they like a girl. But we want to make sure our girls is treated like a princess when they like a boy. But then we wonder why boys and girls are different. But anyway, long story short, my point was, if he asks, like, what's your timetable on sex? She shouldn't be offended. She should answer him that question just like he answered her. And it shouldn't be this type of thing that seems to make you feel so uncomfortable, because we're just talking about sex. And you could just say 6 months, 8 months, or I don't have sex at all without a commitment. That's perfectly fine, but give that man an answer. Don't play with his head, because men hate that. Go see you today, thinking he might get lucky. Go see you tomorrow, thinking he might get lucky. Go see you the next day, thinking he might get lucky. And now you wonder why he ain't showing up no more. He got tired of the roller coaster thing. You didn't give him no real baseline. You're not really trying to be understood. You're trying to be evasive. So if I had told her, I'll marry you when I'm ready. Like, I can't put a timeline on knowing when somebody's good for marriage. It could take a year, could take 20, based on how good you are. I'm setting her up. That's being set up for failure. Yo, it's 6 months or 8, good news or bad news. After 6 months or 8 months, I'm either not spending any more time with you because I don't see a need for marrying you or a reason for marrying you, or I want to marry you because I think you're worthy. Ladies, wouldn't you rather be dated with intent? Yes or no before I continue? Ladies, would you prefer a man date you with the intent to marry you, or just because he wants a girlfriend? What would you prefer? Are you dating men with the intent that they marry you, or just because you want to fill a role? What are we doing? Because I actually think that's our culture. We're not dating someone for a husband. We're not dating someone for a wife. We're dating to date. We're dating to not be lonely. And that becomes our culture. So we just got a bunch of exes. And everywhere in our culture, X is looked at as a negative. You get an X when it's not correct. You get right, a big red X, family. So every dude that it don't work out with becomes your what? Big red X, big red flag. Why didn't you make it work? Why couldn't this man that was in your life, make it work with you? How many relationships did you get and nobody asked you to marry them? And then the women look at it like, yo, that's unfair. That you're really judging me based on how many men asked me to marry them. Well, don't you judge men based on how many women allowed them to have sex with them? Like, you call him, you say he should be like you. You say that men should be held to the same standard as you. But the women that he's sleeping with are letting him. He's not the gateway to sex, family. So that's a good question, actually. All of y'all agree. I would rather him date me with intention. All of y'all said that. Y'all, nobody said, I just like dating casually. Why didn't y'all say that? Don't we think most people are dating casually though? Like, I know I got a different crowd on here, and all of y'all said I'd rather a man date me with intent. But if that's the case, why are you dating casually? Oh shit. No, go back. I'm doing the same thing. See if two fingers do it. Separate the fingers. Camera. Watch this. Let's see if it's left hand. It'll go back when it's ready, I guess. When I'm talking about something else. But let's continue. You know what I mean? I definitely want you to feel secure. I want you to know that you're gonna have what you need. You know what I mean? But I look at it like the money that you'll save, you'll be able to put that money to the side, save that money up in case anything were to go wrong, and you'll have, a nest egg essentially, because you're only going to pay a fraction of what you pay now. But I just can't see myself covering all of the expenses, being that there is a child that you're bringing in, and you are getting financial aid from someone else. I feel like if that financial toll could actually be on him, whatever he's giving you per month, maybe that's what you pay as far as the child, to bring the child along with me. I mean, I know you don't want to have him keep the child. Keep your child.
No.
So I'm saying I definitely want to get to know your child. I don't have a problem with loving your child at all. But in the beginning, I want to protect myself as well. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's probably not something that, like you said, is easy to hear. A lot of men will say that a woman don't have value because she has a child. I don't believe that. Mm-hmm. But I do understand. I do believe that there's a difference though between a woman who has a child and a woman who doesn't. Mm-hmm. So I believe a woman who does have a child needs to understand, what life would look like for a woman who has a child. You're just not a woman that doesn't have a child. It doesn't mean that you're not of value to the man you had the child with. You're absolutely valuable. You're who created that. Who he created that magic with, and he'll probably always protect you and have your best interest in heart because of the child. To another man, he has to build that with you, and you've already built that with somebody else. That doesn't keep you from building it with me, but I want to build it with you. So hopefully we can. I want you to let me know. Maybe you understand the
Well, I can tell you that I definitely wasn't expecting this to be the conversation, and I need some time to think, because
as much as you are traditional, so am I. And I truly have a little bit of difficulty digesting that my child makes the difference in my access to a traditional life. And I don't know how I feel about it.
Now, family, I'm going to say this thing based on what she just said. She said she's having a difficult time accepting that her having a child is limiting her access to a traditional life. She's having difficulty with accepting that. And I like that she said that, because what that points out is the fact that a lot of us, while having children, are not aware of how people see us when we have children. We're not aware of how someone looks at you in a relationship when you are bringing someone extra to that relationship. And we need to understand this. In this way, when you have a child, when you sever ties with your baby's father or mother, you need to know what life is going to look like outside of them. Now, you could know what life is going to look like outside of them and say, you know what, don't want that. I don't want some guy who's not my child's father telling me I ain't worthy. So let me try and work with this knucklehead that I had a child with. But you guys don't think it's worth it at all to work with that knucklehead. Your child would definitely appreciate you for it, as that's their father, and you wouldn't have a broken home, and you wouldn't open your child up to all of these statistics that come along with separating your child and putting them in a broken home. But even regardless, some relationships just cannot be worked out. Y'all just cannot get along. He just ain't going to act right. And so you would have to leave that relationship, understandably so. But know that regardless of why you left that person alone, you have a child now. And you have to be responsible for the fact that you have a child, and don't expect the child to ignore the fact that you have a child. Let's say you're with some guy and you just didn't like him. Well, you're probably wrong for leaving him. But let's just say you're with a guy and he's just doing you all types of dirty. Well, you're probably not wrong for leaving him. But if you still have a child with this guy, you got to understand that people are always going to see you as a person who has a child. Well, because you do have a child. They're not insulting you. And you have to understand that they're not insulting you. Your child is your child. It's your child, yo. And you should be responsible for your child all the time. Who should be responsible for their children, family? The mother and the father of those children, right? Why is it that we universally understand that the father is always going to be responsible, but not the mother? When the woman gets married to another man, isn't the man outside of that, who's the father of her child, isn't he still responsible for that child, even though the other man is being the father figure to that child? Does he get a break because she went and got married? Well, I don't got to pay child support no more, or take care of my child since you got a man now. No, he still got to take care of his child. Why don't the mother easily see that she still got to take care of her child as well? It's her child. You're going to keep on having men who feel like they're not truly loved in the relationship. So when you go into a relationship with a guy and you have a child, and you don't acknowledge that that man is loving you so much that he's being a father to your child when he don't have to be, it's taking you into his home even though you have a child. If you don't value that, that man will feel like he's not valued or loved. Therein lies your relationship is going to be broken. Do you understand, family? If you have children and you marry a man, and that man does not have children with you, maybe he has one child with you, okay? You should be grateful that that man is actually being a father to those children that are not his. But a lot of y'all don't do that. You don't act like you're grateful for the man who's actually filling that role. But without him, your child would be doomed to be in all of those places where a broken home magnifies the statistics, the negative statistics. Why don't you value a man who will love you regardless that you have a single mother? I mean, that you're a single mother, because a lot of you guys are saying, like, that's messed up, man. Like, that's messed up that he would even say that she got to pay something. Right. You think that. But what about the guy who says you ain't got to pay nothing? You and your child move in, and I'll raise your child, and I'll do all this stuff and be right by your child. What about that guy? How should a woman treat that guy? If she don't got to pay nothing, how should she treat that guy who's being with her and raising her child? If y'all don't think about this, y'all not going to have healthy relationships because y'all don't put no work into it. Y'all don't think the person that you with deserves a good person. And that's crazy. Because that tells me you don't value yourself. And ultimately, this behavior is destroying our homes. She is still taking care of her child. How is she not? Because the man she moved with is paying the bills of her house and had prior to moving in. I'm glad I never had these issues with anyone I've chosen. Okay, think about this Facebook user. She's still taking care of her child, right? Well, correction. The baby's father's still taking care of the child because she's still requiring money from him while she actually doesn't have rent to pay anymore. She's now moved in with this guy. So what is she paying for her child? See, you guys are saying, well, she babysit her child's with her, so now she's responsible for her child. It takes more than that. And that's not good enough for a man. If a man give you a child, can he just come over and spend time with the child and play patty cake and play with toys with the child? Or is he financially obligated to making sure that child have what they need? Which one? Because the mother who moved her child in with a man who he's paying all the bills now, what is she doing financially for her child? Because she's still requiring that man outside of that to give money to her for her child. Where's she putting the money? This man paying for everything. It's not like she's calling him saying, yo, you ain't got to send me nothing else. I got a man now. All I need you to do is just the relationship stuff with the child. I don't need your money no more. No, he gonna still be responsible. I do too, Jay. We as a union should be as one. People be on games. I'm not the one for that. Just keep it 100. Yeah, like if you're going to bring the moral of the story, if you're going to bring someone else into your life, I get not all men pay child support, but in this particular setting, sweetheart, notice how Lacey agreed that the man was being productive for the child. He was being financially responsible. So in this particular situation, he was still financially responsible for the child, and now she's moving in with me, and she's still going to hold him financially responsible for the child's necessities. But meanwhile, she would be expecting me to provide for the child's necessities. But why isn't she responsible for her child? Because even in the video, I said that she could let that child live with the father, but she said no. But why isn't that okay? Why can't the father raise his child? If she's not going to let him go with the child, then she is responsible for her child. She's responsible for it regardless, but you get my point. She can be financially obligated. She buys the child's clothes, foods, extracurricular activities, etc. So again, what if he's saying, Facebook user, I'll take care of all that, but all I'm asking is that you just pay a portion of the rent. It's the same money. He's just saying, I'm not going to sit here and live like that. I'm not going to do that. While I'm vetting, I don't want to invest in your child. He don't have a right to that. Why is that so offensive? I have seen so many times where a man who has his children, women won't even deal with him. I've seen women move in with a man with their children, but when his children need to come live there, she don't want them to, because she don't want his children in the home. She only wants her children in the home. Now, how many of y'all have saw that? I'm not saying it's every woman either, but it's sad that mothers act that way. If you have children and you know he got children, why would you not want his children to come inside the house? My father, women a lot of times did that to him. He was often raising children that weren't his. But when we came over to see him, man, his wives and stuff didn't want us around. When we asked to live with him, man, they get their nose in the air. They didn't want us living with them. She wanted him to raise her children, not his own. So I watched my father raise other children better than he raised me, because I didn't live with him. So the kids who live with him get to go out to eat with him when he go to eat. They get toys all the time. Consistent love from that father. And they still call him father to this day. But meanwhile, I grew up with father issues. But my father was a great dad. Those women a lot of times did not want my father to come do stuff for us, to let us live there, to come buy us stuff, to take us out, take us to the movies. They didn't like it. Tamika said that was my dad's situation growing up. And she's a girl. So she's a little girl watching her daddy raise somebody else's family. How was it that that mother was okay with that? Why didn't she make his ass go take care of Tamika? Like, yo, you're not going to be up here taking care of my kids without taking care of your own. Yo, that's sickening. Why is she okay with him footing the bill for her kids while he neglects his own? Yo, we have horrible culture in our communities. We got these kids out here needing us, but because we don't like the person we made them with, fuck them, right? I'm honestly glad that you can't relate, Jay. It means that you didn't grow up with a lot of these things happening to you. My mom used to listen to Master P. That's funny. I can tell you right now, I can guarantee you 60, 70, 80% of people understand what I'm talking about because it's a Black issue. It's a real issue that we see often. Many of us can say we know a man out here that's raising somebody else's kids, but meanwhile got kids that he ain't raising. And that's crazy. I don't care who you had them kids with. Take care of your damn kids, man. They need you. They'll be better for it, and you will too. And the fact that you've forsaken that is what's keeping you from hitting your next level and stage in life. Thus saith the ancestors. It's your children who's going to mature you to get you to that next level. See, my children saved my life. I'm sorry to hear that, Jay. My children saved my life. I was not ready for my daughter to be born. I was not. But the moment I heard that she was coming to this world, I made myself responsible. When Jamie came and said, I'm sorry, but I'm pregnant, she actually said it with an apology. I'm sorry, but I'm pregnant. I was like, oh, don't be sorry. Oh, don't be sorry. You got a good one. See, I'm going to be better than my daddy. You watch. You ain't going to have to worry about nothing. That's who I was when I found this out. And for the next 9 months until my daughter got here, I made a man of myself. Now, I was already living on my own. I was already responsible because I had to be. I lived on my own since I was 15, for those of you who do not know. My mother died when I was 3. My father was not there in the way that I would like for him to be. He was caught up under this spell. He's a great man, but he was caught up in this spell. My grandmother passed young. So I lived on my own since I was 15 years old, family. I met Jamie a few years later, but I knew her all the while in school. But we didn't talk much when we was in school. But when we started dealing with each other and she got pregnant, I stepped up. Those 9 months, I grew so quick. My intent was to be a man before my daughter got to this world. Now, what do we do as men when we find out we got a baby on the way? Deny it? Do we not say, yo, I mean, why don't we say as men, yo, I got a baby coming. I got 6 months to get ready and prepare. This means I'm going to spend the pregnancy of this woman with this woman. Yeah, it's important that my voice is heard. Why is her ass out here pregnant by herself? I don't care if you're together or not. You about to bring a baby into this world. Why are y'all not spending time together, getting to know each other and planning with a child's life? It's 9 months. You can't do that. Sit your ass down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. You got a woman pregnant. Sit down somewhere. Lady, you got pregnant. Sit down somewhere. Be a mother. Be a father. Do that. Because the child's coming, y'all, regardless, yo. And so now you're going to be ill-prepared because you didn't prepare yourself that 9 months. What does it look like to raise a child? Why are we so ill-prepared? Why we keep saying, but I was young and I didn't know what to do? Why? You got 9 months to prepare. They don't just throw the babies in your lap. You throw the baby in her lap. Pause. But it's 9 months before she put it back in yours. So as men and women, while y'all are pregnant, because she ain't pregnant, it's y'all. Now watch what happens. Because you're not there with this woman while she has, you might say, well, she ain't a good woman. Well, you laid with her and she having your baby. So while she's having your baby, you're not there with her. So now she feel like she carried the baby all on her own. She's forgotten about the fact that she got that baby from you. She thinks she been carrying it for 9 months, like you ain't carried it at all. No time. So you don't deserve no right or say so. You probably should have been with her during the pregnancy, fam. See, in nature, if a woman gives you her body, you give her your resources and protection. So she's told you she was pregnant. Why didn't you give her your protection? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you say, okay, you pregnant? We gonna have to make some decisions now. What if she says, well, I don't want a relationship? Okay, that's fine. But we still need to be in each other's lives because I'm going to be your child's father and you're going to be my child's mother. I didn't know who you are. I didn't know how you grew up. Now I need to meet your parents because that's going to be their grandparents. You need to meet my parents. That's going to be their, like, you do know you're bringing a child into what should be a tribe, right? But you don't familiarize her with your people. So if she has any needs, she can hit your parents up if something happened to you, hit your father up, hit your brother. If something, like, we don't have that. So we're not actually birthing kids into tribe. You're birthing kids on islands. Y'all not going to get this shit until 10 years from now. I guarantee y'all going to think I'm crazy. Y'all going to think I'm crazy. When you have a baby on the way, yo, why are you not meeting y'all's families? Why y'all? I know you was premature in getting her pregnant, but why you don't start the day and start fixing that shit? You got 9 months for this baby to get here. Why you won't go meet her parents? Why he can't meet yours? Like, why y'all won't do that? Because 9 months later, when this baby's born and he ain't even at the hospital, now he's wondering why she's giving him punitive treatment. Why you won't let me see my baby? It's my baby too. Well, you didn't act like that when I was carrying it, man. She resents you now. And your child gonna pay the price. Your child gonna pay the biggest price. So they come into this world in debt because our asses is irresponsible. Your children come into this world in debt because we are irresponsible to the things that we do. And they ain't even indebted because we got a bunch of bills and shit that we don't pay and leave. They got that too. They already got to pay for our lack of knowledge. But we don't even give them a family. We should apologize to them. We should apologize to our children for birthing them outside of tribe. That's our fault, family. It's our fault. The answer to it all is no sex until you're going to be responsible for your actions. You're absolutely right, Antoinette. But we can't do that. See, that's what I'm saying. We say we want a better world, but creating that world looks like abstinence until you know you can really deal with somebody in that way. So we don't want to really change the world. We just want to say we want to change the world. Actually fixing the world don't look like fun. So we'll never actually do it. We'll never get around to it. I heard somebody say, I just did something that I've been putting off for 5 years. And it took me 20 minutes to do it. I'll learn absolutely nothing from this. Right. Because we fly by the seat of our pants and we're not taking on the data that's being presented in front of us. We're not actually making adjustments according to our reality. We're not. Ignorance, doing the same insanity, doing the same thing, expecting something different. I think the world should be a better place. Well, what does that look like? You keeping it in your pants, man. You keeping your legs closed, lady. That's what it looks like. Until you know them better. That act is sacred. And we live in a society that has now switched sex over from something that's sacred to something that is pleasure-based. So now she want to know if your penis big before she know if you can produce her a baby and be a good father to that baby. Before she care about your actual genetics and carrying on your genetic line because of your principles, she need to know if you got a big dick and if you can stroke it right. And she don't realize that she's unhealthy because she's thinking stupid. So a guy who wants to be your wife, he's calling sex with you, test driving you. I don't know if the sex is good. Really, man? Sex is an act that takes two people, and two people can get better at that act. Why are you using that as an excuse to sleep with this woman, knowing you ain't gonna marry her? I know I sound like I know y'all hating that right now, but let's be real, yo, it's not true. You don't need to test drive her to see if she's a good wife. That's crazy. What's the logic in that? I'd rather have somebody who hadn't had much sex and we can grow together. Like, I'll teach you the sex. Like, that part's easy. We're gonna have sex in all different kinds of ways. We're gonna have hella fun. I don't need you to already be an expert at sex. Like, the hell is that? But you got to think about this, fellas. Donnie said, but why not? Well, because you have a problem with a body count. You see, how's she gonna get good at sex if she don't have sex, and then you're gonna have a problem with a body count? While she out here getting all this sex, that decreases her discipline because she's getting all these different dudes that got different sizes. So now she's expecting a certain size because she's getting exposed to a lot. So now here you come along and you're a good guy, but you're being judged by how well you have sex because you wanted somebody who was experienced. Now your ass coming up short. Why you don't? Like, so hang on, let me get this straight. Men, that's what y'all want? A woman who good at sex? That's what y'all making sure is the thing before y'all get married? But what if you don't feel connected with her when you have sex? So let me get this straight, Donnie. Let's say that you're dating her and you really feel like she's wife material. Your connection ain't in your soul? Like, you haven't already connected? Like, you've been dating her. Y'all been going out. Y'all been getting to know each other. Like, if there's no connection, don't sleep with her. Like, don't do it. You think the sex gonna create a connection that ain't there already? If you don't have a connection, King, move on. If you don't have a connection, King, move on. Go ahead. A dude has a connection long before he ever sleeps with you. Long before. We have this love at first sight type deal. This is what makes us simps. She's beautiful, man. We'll be sitting here doing everything we can for this woman just to get on her sweet side. We're already in love. We're already in the action of doing good deeds for her. She's looking at you, requiring you to see what you can do before she gives you access, but you already ready to start giving gifts, man. You already feeling it. Peace, Cabrina. Would I stay married to a woman whose sex is horrible? Absolutely. I would teach her sex, yo. We can learn that together. Trust me. Sex gets better as you guys do it together. I absolutely could, because what I care about is her genetics. I care about how she's going to raise my children. Like, I care about good pussy don't raise kids. Good dick don't raise your kids. What y'all talking about? So you could be with somebody? Yes, I could be. Yes, because marriage ain't about actual sex. When you forge that type of life and say, I'm going to be with you forever, it's because you recognize this person has all the things that you need going forward in life. Good pussy do not raise no kid. Do y'all kids be behaving because y'all got good pussy? These dudes who y'all was messing with, who had the big dicks, are their kids good? The dudes who ain't there no more. Y'all tell me how this works. He come around swinging, don't he? Hey, son. Hey, dad. I don't think kids care if you got good pussy or a big dick. I don't think they care. I think we are superficial and we care. And our kids got to pay for that. If you were a virgin, you wouldn't even be saying he's small. You wouldn't even care. That wouldn't be something that you even think about. But if you out here and you sleeping with multiple men and you get different experiences with men, you might start in your head trying to imagine, hey, I want a man who got this and got that now because you've been out here experiencing. Same thing with the guy. If he's been out here having all types of sex, yeah, he gonna want this woman to be sucking and fucking and doing all this crazy shit that he don't have to teach her. He want it day one. He don't want to have to earn it. He don't want to have to bring her into his adventure and open her up to all of that and be the only one who she's done all that with. So, okay, she ain't the best. She can't give head better than anybody, but you tell her how you like it, man. And in a year or two, she's great, but you're the only one she's been doing that for. I don't see why man is saying, yo, she could, boy, she was putting it down like a mug, boy. Where did she learn it, King? Like, I'm not saying that you all should just want a woman who ain't been with nobody, but yo, we've been making that a prerequisite that she must be some damn sex demon. And that's why you got women taking classes on how to ride somebody, but they ain't taking no classes on how to negotiate a relationship with their partner. Yo, that ain't gonna equal the relationship. I'm gonna tell you now, you're gonna get real good at riding. You're gonna go to all those classes, and all you're gonna do is just be a better night for somebody who don't want your ass. Because ain't nobody marrying you because you can ride. Porn stars don't get married. Why are we not all in line to marry porn stars? Because we care about all the dudes that's ran through them. Yo, it's a catch-22. And men are creating that for themselves by falling into that trap. Should never look at a woman like that. She's not a toy. She's a person, man. She's a human being. And I get tired of that shit because I get tired of dudes being looked at the same way. Like, I'm a dude. I'm a human being. I don't want some woman saying, yo, treat me like I'm a piece of fucking flesh. Like, damn. I don't want to be treated like that. I want to be treated like a human being. I'm much more than my sex. I'm much more than my dollar. Yo, you don't have a clue how much I've worked to manifest who I am. Patrick said, I'd marry Mia Khalifa. Well, that's cool because she just got divorced for the same reasons you'd probably marry her. All that proves is if one won't, one will. It don't mean that her behavior is anything that men want in a wife. So you really have to ask yourself, Patrick, yo, where are my standards? Why the hell would I marry Mia Khalifa? Yo, you can look it up right now and see her still getting down on all these dudes. Why would you want, you mean to tell me, Patrick, you can walk into an event with your wife and it be Mia Khalifa, knowing every man in that room can look at her and remember the time that she did this to such and such and did this with old such and such. Your children can look up her videos. And when she gets older, her grandkids can look them up. Her nieces and nephews know you married to her and can look it up and see everything that she got. You would marry her? I'm joking, Unc. Okay. Whoa, I'm about to go in. But Patrick, I'm about to say, man, can I be your mentor for free? Call me. Call me, brother. We need to talk. You selling yourself short, King. See, when you get with your partner, y'all can have sex in all kind of ways and have freaky sex, and then she's only did this with one person. Thank you so much, Keisha Angel. Thank you. When you get with your one person, you can do it a million different ways. And if men would get with a woman and negotiate a real relationship with her, y'all can do it in a million different ways. But if we don't do that, then we're going to one night stand her. Now, I'm not about to paint, I was going to say, somebody was going to say, because I don't want to paint no picture like women are innocent out here, because none of us are. But my point is this. If a woman got to go through 4 and 5 guys to get sexual experience, that's 4 and 5 body counts. When she could have been with one guy and got all that information, all that data she needed. So if a woman says, I've been with one guy, that should still be enough to let you know she know what she's doing. It don't have to be 30, 40, 50 guys for her to know how to do it, y'all. That's crazy. And here's the kicker. We will be together and still not have conversations around sex. we'll be together and still not tell each other what we like during sex. And so the sex don't ever get better because you won't tell them. You won't exploit each other's bodies. So we're not really trying to negotiate the sexual part or the living part. You guys say, Kevin, why do you have 2 wives? Because I'm about tribe. See, a lot of you guys will say y'all monogamous, but you still can't manage a home with one person. Now, how is it that y'all can't maintain a relationship with one person? But I've had one poly relationship and it's lasted damn near 3 years. We still together. We still are harmonic, making it work. And I'm having to negotiate with 2 women. How is it that y'all can't negotiate with one? You can't get along with one person to make sure them bills is paid, and y'all not out here single paying bills by yourself. Instead, y'all will leave the house and go right back to being single and give the other culture your rent money because you don't own shit. And every month they getting all your bread because you're not living with your man, you're not living with your woman, getting these houses paid off. Within the first year of your relationship, you should be ready to buy a house. I ain't even gonna hold you. Relationships should be based on seasons. Our first year of meeting each other, what's your credit like? Okay, not so good. Mine either. But I met somebody who I really like. Let's build together. Why your credit bad? Well, because I've been living out here by myself and having to pay all these bills by myself. Understandable. Why yours bad? Same reasons. Okay, let's move in together and split some of these bills up. And let's, within the first year, let's try and buy a house. That's your first business, your first home. If it don't work out, use that shit as an Airbnb. At least you didn't date for 5 years and didn't get nothing out of it. And now you say, I just wasted my time. Yeah, you spent 5 years in an apartment. Why didn't y'all work together and try and buy a house? Not even so much about, did you get government married? Did you buy a house? Did you start a business together? Like, buying a house is starting a business. Do that. Buy a house and agree on what the terms should be if y'all break up. Let's buy a house. Let's do that. And if we don't work out, let's put a contract in order that says we both move out of the house and we both use it as an Airbnb and we both live off the profits of that home. And if we're not together, at least we have a business that we built together. At least I can go into my next relationship and say, yo, I am single. How'd your last relationship go? Well, it didn't work out, obviously. But while I was in that relationship, I learned business. I learned how to buy a house. So we own a home together that we use as an Airbnb. So we both make our ends off of it. We split it 50-50 down the middle. And I actually use that money to do my other expenses and stuff. And I know how to work with a man now. To a man, yo, that look good on paper. That look real good on paper. Thank you so much. I would go back there and sing y'all something. Ooh. I can't hold that. I can play too. I go back there and give y'all a little something. Like I said before, you're so intelligent. Thank you, Keisha. I'm really hoping that you guys can know I'm speaking from that place. I'm not speaking from a place of trying to ridicule you. I love you all. I am y'all. So I am brokenness. I've done the same shit. I grew up in the same shit. But what you recognizing is somebody who I got a good look at all that stuff. And I've put a lot of thought in how can we truly correct this? We truly complain about these issues. And if we don't correct them, we will have to see these issues face on in the form of our children. So we will live again through our children. And we will live exactly through the shit that we're creating. Let's do this again soon, family. I'm going to go live again on Sunday. Be here. I'm going to go live again on Sunday at 12 noon. And we'll have a different topic. And I'm going to try to keep doing this so I can get better at it. All right? Please share the content. Tell as many people about it so I can grow as well. All right, family? Because I'll be a whole lot more encouraged when I start seeing more people come on here. All right? Keep commenting. Keep liking the channel. If you're getting something that you need here, go share that information with somebody else. If I said some things here that you think could be useful to our community that is so desolate and really needs help, if you really feel, whether you agree with my dynamic or not, you don't have to agree with Polly, but you know there's something wrong with monogamy. We can't even stay together long enough to get a house paid off, to get a house bought, not even paying it off. We can't even stay together long enough to build our credit enough, to work together to build our credit enough to buy a house. And if you realize, if you work with somebody and did all that type of shit, that's taking the relationship seriously. What's not taking a relationship seriously is just arguing about what y'all ain't doing for each other. That's childish. And that's all our relationships has ever been about. He don't take me out enough. She don't compliment me enough. She don't support me enough. He don't do this enough. She don't do that for me enough. No, how about y'all work on each other's credit? Work on your own credit individually. Build y'all shit up and go buy something together. That way you can see the work ethic in each other, the consistency in each other. And that will tell you how they can father a child and mother a child in the future. But if you're not doing that, you're not going to know who you're dealing with. Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it's in that chaos that you find yourself. Hey, Maya, come here. Come here. Come here. Come around here, Booch. Come over here. This side. Come say hey to these beautiful folks before we get off of here. She done creeped in here. Come here. She done creeped in here and was just standing there being so good. She was just standing there like, do I say something? I know he's busy. That's funny, Christina. Christian comedian. You are a comedian. That's funny. My credit just jumped to 29 points, baby. 426. Say bye. Gonna say bye to the people, Mayana? Say. Now, whatever she's doing, got this camera listening to her. Now, she done did something and curved this finger over here like this. And I know that move ain't in this guide. I'm gonna look at this template right here. And I'm gonna guarantee you that ain't in there, but it's listening. But anyway, I love y'all, man. I'll see y'all soon. See y'all on Sunday at 12 o'clock. Peace. Actually, here's what we're gonna go over on Sunday. I'm gonna show y'all how the Matrix has manipulated us into creating the Matrix that we see today. I'm going to show y'all how, since we were children, the shows that come on the TV, the commercials that come on the TV, the videos that are out are all telling us to behave the way we're behaving now. So the problem that you see in the home today where man and woman can't get along no more, I'm going to show you how TV taught us that. That didn't come from us. We are mirroring what we have been taught. And what we have been taught is exactly what will break our home down. It is psychos. There's been a war on our minds for since they had that box in front of us. And you're going to find out why they call that box a devil box, why they said it was demonic. That TV, that tube, that channel, that tell live vision. You're going to see why they said that this thing is going to be the end of your families. We're going to go through it on Sunday. Be ready, family. It's going to blow your mind. Y'all love my Matrix content? Y'all ready for it? Y'all going to see how the Matrix has tricked us into serving the machine instead of the family. All right? I love you all. Peace.